Good afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you may be. It's Wednesday at 4, so that makes us Baldy and the Blonde.
I'm the blonde one.
We better be.
Yes, we are.
And I'm still the bald one.
Yeah,
that hasn't changed.
That. Listen, you could talk to Drew Brees about that.
Nah, he's got a little more dough than I do. I'll stay with my awesome good looks.
Well, thank God for that. Yes.
Yeah,
thank God. And you have a tan head. That's good, too.
I never noticed.
It's just not pasty.
To me, it's just my head.
Yeah, well, it is
All right,
that.
Can we talk about something besides my head?
Yes, we can talk about lies, damnable lies, and the occasional sunny truth, because we have both today.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Well, actually, a little bit of truth and
a lot of lies.
A lot, as usual. A lot.
I'm working on a library of musical clips.
A library?
Anybody want to send me their ideas about musical clips that emphasize lies?
Well, we got one of those. But
Should we play it?
Well, no, I got the other one queued up.
Well,
no, I'm not going to go to the other one. I got this one queued up.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, look.
No, I just have a new one. I haven't told you about it.
Oh, all right.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little. Yeah,
all right.
that.
All right, can we get on with the show?
Yes, we can.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Well, today we're sort of in an anniversary phase right now. And you all may remember before COVID, we were more free than we are now. And right around this time, in March of 2020, we went on lockdown, where people lost their minds, stood 6 feet apart, wore masks, didn't wear masks, wore masks, didn't wear masks, depending on the whims of Tony Fauci of the day. And that's where we became very accustomed to our freedom being snatched for what turned out to be all lies. When asked later, why did we stand 6 feet apart? We didn't really have any evidence of why. We just
No, they even said that was made up.
They just made it
arbitrary.
up. Made it up.
I got to tell you, where I lived, none of this happened.
So as a result, my sisters and I bought property on the North Shore. And my family, without getting into who's who, but yes, and we used that because they were free on the North Shore.
Yeah,
I live on New Orleans. You had to have a passport to go to a restaurant. You had to wear a mask to walk to the table. At which point you could take it off and put it on if you left the table.
Well, COVID took a hiatus between the front door.
Right.
Well, no, I guess it took the hiatus when you got to the table.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. There's no problem at the table. So I live on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and over there, it was ignored.
Same thing. Abita, Covington, Mandeville, ignored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandeville?
Yeah, pretty well. Maybe not old Mandeville. I didn't go to restaurants there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was a little surprised because I lived in Mandeville many years, and they
a lot of uptown transplants.
Yeah. Well, they're a little hardcore over there at times.
They can be.
Anyway, so I know you sent me a few clips. I got them ready.
Yep.
And
this is the truth part. Actually.
Oh, yeah, right.
We have lies and truth today.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think this guy might have been lying, too.
Yeah?
So, yeah, I mean, he might have been thinking he's speaking the truth, but he might...
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He might have been lying. I'm not sure. Guy's name is Tal Zaks.
Yes.
Z-A-K-S. And at the time, he was chief medical officer at Moderna. This was in 2017 during a TED Talk or a TEDx Talk, whatever the difference is. And I'm not sure who the audience is. I just know that this is 2017, giving a TEDx talk. I don't know what the title of his speech was, but I can tell you what the title of the YouTube video is.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same thing. And the YouTube video is titled Rewinding
Tom.
That sounds like white flight or something.
It's crazy.
It's Rewriting the Genetic Code. A cancer cure in the making. Oh, so what did he say was going to cure cancer? Get this.
mRNA?
The mRNA vaccine.
Yeah, of course.
And it's not even a vaccine. Remember, they changed the definition of vaccine.
Yes.
So this wouldn't fit under the new umbrella of vaccine. So let's hear
it's Moderna, right?
Moderna.
Yeah.
Let's hear what Mr. Tal Zaks had to say in 2017, how this miracle of mRNA would cure cancer. Here we go. And Michelle, if you want to stop this at any way,
I may.
You just tell me to stop.
We're actually hacking the software of life, and that it's...
Okay, that's a red flag right there.
Right off
They're
the bat.
just hacking the software of life. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? God
created
man, but here comes Mr. Tal, whose name I might say sounds surprisingly similar to Yuval Harari. But anyway, go ahead.
How does that sound
Just does
similar?
to me. Talval.
Talzax.
Yeah, just
and
whatever.
you've all heard. Yeah, they rhyme.
Well, the same idea.
Okay, whatever.
It's changing the way we think about prevention and treatment of disease. Our body is made out of organs. Our organs are made out of cells. And in every cell, there's this thing called messenger RNA, or mRNA for short, that transmits the critical information from the DNA, our genes, to the protein, which is really the stuff we're all made out of. This is the critical information that determines what a cell will actually do.
Okay, so the critical information that determines what the cell will actually do, and we're going to screw with that?
We're going to fix that.
Yeah, we're going to fix it.
Because, yeah.
Obviously, it's broken. Here we go.
And so we think of it like an operating system. It's not just in every cell of our body, it's actually in every cell of every organism alive. And so if you could actually change that, which we call the software of life, if you could introduce a line of code or change a line of code.
Wow, okay. I have written a lot of code going way back to the early 80s, and even before that. I've written a lot of computer programs. I even wrote HTML code to do websites. When you actually had to write the code, you couldn't just do it now with widgets and stuff. I know what it's like to write code, and if you don't get it exactly right, it can be disastrous or do the opposite of what you want or screw up way down the road. Yeah. And that's just for little programs I would write. He's talking about the human body.
Yes, and we'll see how well it worked out.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
We're going to get to
it. It turns out that has profound implications for everything from the flu to cancer. And I'm going to demonstrate that with 3 short examples. Let's start with the flu. So many of us get a vaccine. What is a vaccine? It is an injection in our arm where we get bits and pieces of the virus, the proteins. And that teaches our immune system to recognize the virus, and so when we get infected, we're not sick. Now imagine if instead of giving the protein, we would give the instructions on how to make the protein, how the body can make its own vaccine. That's an mRNA vaccine.
Unless it doesn't turn off.
And keeps making the protein.
Yeah, what then?
Like a spike protein, for example. What causes COVID-19? Spike protein. So instead of having a little spike protein injected into you so that you would develop immunity, they put something inside of all the shot victims to make their bodies produce the shot, to produce the thing that makes the spike protein.
What could go wrong?
So that they become factories producing endless spike proteins.
And what's the downside? You say it like that's a bad thing.
Exactly. Well, we'll see, because we're about to get to sunshine.
Yeah, so back in 2017, that was a miracle. Okay.
And I want to tell you something that I didn't get to talk with you about, but a very famous lawyer / investigator, Francis Boyle, I happened to come across something where he said that he actually submitted an affidavit under oath in a court case. He's from Harvard and the University of Chicago, confirming that the COVID vaccines are bioweapons of mass destruction. And he said, interestingly, that Moderna was paid $25 million to develop the mRNA, what he called Frankenshots, by DARPA, which is the Pentagon. So,
that's right. I did hear that interview, or at least a little clip of it. Well, where I was going with this, back in 2017, this was ostensibly a miracle solution.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and it hasn't really aged that well, has it?
No, it has not.
So now you sent me this great clip.
Yes.
It's an epidemiologist named Nicholas Holscher. He's a relatively young guy.
He is. Very impressive.
He is very impressive. Now, the first clip, we have a few clips of him. The first one is when he was on the show called The High Wire with Del Bigtree. This was a few months back, December 18th of 2025.
Yes.
Basically talking about what a catastrophe mRNA has been. So hang on one second.
And the headline, can I give it?
And so what we did was
Go ahead.
So first of all, what he's saying is they took this giant study by the Henry Ford Foundation.
We don't have much time for that.
All right, and they found out that vaccinated children are sicker across all 22 chronic disease categories. All 22, overwhelmingly.
All right, he's going to tell us that. Here we go.
And so what we did was we looked at the raw numbers. When we looked at the raw proportions, all 22 of the chronic disease categories were proportionally higher in the vaccinated. All 22, including cancer. Cancer was 54% higher in the vaccinated group compared to the unvaccinated children.
Let's just look at the raw ratios, and there you see that in every single instance, the vaccinated are doing worse, even in cancer?
Every single one. And nothing can explain that other than the fact that these vaccines are unleashing chronic disease on our children.
So
Right.
what Holscher did there, and he's not an MD, he is an epidemiologist, and
Yep.
he's like a health
Masters
expert
of
some
Public
kind.
Health,
That's it.
epidemiology.
So he analyzed the raw data from a vaccinated versus unvaccinated study conducted by Henry Ford Health.
Yes.
Took the raw data instead of any reports or whatever that was
Right.
written after the fact. He said, "No, let me see the raw data."
Yeah,
And in
because there's
doing
no
that,
prejudice in that. You're just looking at
they
the
look
numbers, just the numbers.
and that's what they came up with.
Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Coates every Wednesday at 4, and you can also catch us at baldyandtheblonde.com. Right now, we are examining some sunshine that's been shed on the COVID mRNA shots and COVID itself, because we're trying to emphasize a couple of good things that have come about in the Trump regime, because we're getting to the lies after that. So, because of the Maha movement, Robert Kennedy, Jay Bhattacharya, a lot of good people are in the government right now doing some pretty incredible things. That, along with the closed border, I would say would be the sunshine truth moments, and we have certainly got some dark lies coming up later about the war.
Well,
So-
now, just to be clear, what the things we're talking about, they're not good things. They're bad things. What's good is we're finally getting to some truth.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's
no,
lies
right.
versus truth, and
Right.
you know that right now we're getting some light shed on some things that were destined to be buried forever. Don't forget, Moderna and Pfizer took the position that the documents shouldn't be released for 75 years.
They should, yeah, they did. That
They
was their
did,
position.
and a judge said, "No, turn them over." So
They wanted to make sure that they were all dead and all their kids were dead, and then you can release it.
that's it. So we are looking at some studies that have come out showing that vaccinated children are much sicker than unvaccinated kids. And so far, I think we've covered the fact that cancer is up 54% versus, this is vaccinated kids versus unvaccinated. Autism up 180%. Neurodevelopmental disorders up, ready? 1,254%. Autoimmune diseases, 1,120%. Motor disabilities, 810%. I mean, this is crazy. Speech disorders, 803%. Mental health, 696% increase over non-vaccinated kids. And this is from raw data collected by the Henry Ford study that,
So-
that this guy whose clip we just played, Nicholas Hulscher, has, you know, along with others with a peer-reviewed study, released their interpretation of this data.
Now, the clip we just played, he said 500% increase in autism. I'm not sure there's a discrepancy in what we got, but the
You
point...
know what? I bet you I'm not sure either.
Oh,
but
I see.
It says 54 here, but maybe the
No, that's... Yeah, I can't tell. Yours,
I can't tell
Your
the-
table is all weird.
Yeah.
But he just...
he said 540.
He said 500% for autism, but everything in all 22 categories, every single one was off the charts increased likelihood of
Yes.
of
And
getting
yeah.
those if you're vaccinated.
If you want to look it up, it is Nicholas Hulscher, Hulscher, and it is a study performed that is called, let's see, well, just look it up this way. Vaccinated children are sicker across all 22 chronic disease categories.
Okay, so now we have him testifying just a week ago before the Idaho Senate, because they were about to vote on Idaho Bill S-1346 that would establish a 2-year moratorium on gene therapy, including the COVID-19 and mRNA shots for COVID women, pregnant women and children. And so he, a week ago, was testifying in front of them.
Yeah.
And maybe he helped because it passed. At least it
Good.
passed. It passed the Senate and the committee, and now will go out to the vote in the Senate in Idaho. So he's talking about many studies covering literally hundreds of millions of people in the findings that he's going to talk about here. This is really important. All he was doing, he only had 2 minutes, so he was just kind of reading it deadpan, so it's going to come across that way. And so I kind of separated it by a little tiny gap between categories. Otherwise, he was just kind of, because he only had 2 minutes, he was just like reading it kind of fast.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
going to sound a little bit weird because he was just reading to get it on the record.
Yeah.
So anyway, here's what we got.
I'm here to testify in support of this bill and to present documented evidence regarding observed harms associated with the COVID-19 mRNA gene therapy injections. Over 1,000 peer-reviewed studies now show that the mRNA products are inherently hazardous to human health.
You heard that?
Yeah.
1,000 peer-reviewed studies?
1,000.
Okay, here we go.
Vaccine mRNA and spike protein have been detected in heart, brain, adrenal, and vascular tissue at autopsy.
Stop that for a
Independent
sec.
laboratories.
The reason that's important is because we were told that when you got the shot, it would stay in your arm, that it wasn't going to travel throughout your body and replicate. Instead, they're finding these spike proteins throughout your body because your body has been turned into a factory producing spike proteins by this mRNA.
Just like the dude
Just
at,
like
at the start told us.
That's right. It is a miracle, according to him, because, not what we expected. Well, some of us, we're a little leery of this. And just remember, no test, not inadequate testing, and you are the lab rats. And here's the results of your rat studies.
All right. Continuing with Mr. What's his name? Holzer's testimony.
Yes, I just interrupted him.
That's
Keep
all right.
going.
Perfect.
Have confirmed human persistence of vaccine mRNA, spike protein, and plasmid DNA fragments for more than 3.5 years post-injection, hijacking cells and vital organs to produce pathogenic non-human proteins has grave consequences. 32 studies now show increased mortality signals associated with mRNA vaccination. 3 independent estimates yield 470,000 to 840,000 U.S. mRNA vaccine-associated deaths.
What?
The 2 largest COVID-19 vaccine safety studies ever conducted, involving 184 million people, found significantly elevated risks of heart attacks, myocarditis, arrhythmias, strokes, brain clots, Guillain-Barré syndrome, and neuroinflammatory disorders. Population studies involving millions showed statistically significant increases in 7 major cancers following COVID-19 vaccination. Finally, 9 studies have demonstrated negative efficacy, meaning increased infection risk with more mRNA injection doses.
And there was a lot more to it, but I couldn't let it go on forever. We only have. Usually, I try to keep them under a minute.
Right.
I let that one go a minute and a half. He had maybe 2 to 2.5 minutes, so I cut out a lot of juicy stuff. But the point is, what we heard at the top, the first clip, was in 2017, the chief medical officer at Moderna saying that this mRNA was going to be a miracle and would cure cancer.
Yes, because it could rewrite the genetic code.
Yeah.
And make your body able to fix cancer. Hasn't worked out correctly.
No, but then,
And I'm just saying anecdotally, I keep a list on my desk of my friends that have died from what doctors are, I guess, behind the calling turbo cancers.
And I know you have a few on that list. And
And
there's
heart
one,
attacks.
and I'm not even going to name any names, but remember there was a guy who worked in the building maintenance.
Yep.
That might have been the first one.
That I knew of,
He
yes.
was relatively young, really fit.
Yep.
Actually, really fit.
Really fit.
And then all of a sudden, he just died.
Former football player, good shape. Yep. Lots of people.
And this was right after the vaccines came out.
Kids with cancer, people who are in remission, and all of a sudden it comes back with ferocity. And I'm not happy about it.
And now we're hearing, besides anecdotally, of course, this guy's talking about 1,000 peer-reviewed studies show this,
Yeah.
32 peer-reviewed studies show that, and it's in, it's all over the world.
Yes. And you've heard of the word eugenics. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I don't know about eugenics as it is. I think it might have been a Frankenstein that got our way.
Yeah, maybe.
They
At best.
It sounds like they thought that they had something going, and they put it in us, and it went bad.
Yes, it did. Very
Well, they
bad.
didn't put it in all of us. Not me.
Not me.
Aldi and the Blonde are back. Both of us, Tom Coates and Michelle Godin.
Here we are.
She keeps trying to get rid of me, but I keep showing up.
Yeah.
She tries locking the door. I keep getting in.
It's
And
like an
so,
mRNA virus.
if it
You
was up
just
to her-
replicate.
yeah, it is. If it was up to her to just be the blonde, but Baldy shows up.
It does
Can't
have
get
a
rid of me.
certain ring to it, doesn't it?
The blonde?
The blonde.
Not really.
Not really.
I think Baldy and the blonde has a great ring.
It has a better ba-boom.
Baldy and the sounds stupid, so I had to bring you in to have a blonde.
Baldy and the.
If that sounded dumb. It needed something
That
behind
really does
it.
sound Baldy and the.
Yeah, so you were invited.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, so we've heard 2 clips by Nicholas Holscher.
Yes.
That if you missed them, go back to baldyandblonde.com later after I post it, and you'll hear 2 shocking clips of his saying that the likelihood of having catastrophic illnesses following mRNA vaccination are highly, highly elevated. You're much more likely to have serious illnesses, including cancer.
Heart attacks.
And he was citing, well, not citing the studies, but he said that there's 1,000 peer-reviewed studies saying a lot of this, and the studies encompass hundreds of millions of people, some of them. But as shocking as those clips were, we're about to play a third.
Wait. Before you play
What?
the first one we played, the second one was about diseases and heart attacks and cancer.
Yeah.
The first one was about children.
The first one was specifically about children.
Terrible.
Yes.
22 categories of chronic disease, off the charts increases in vaccinated versus unvaccinated children.
And not only 22, he said we only looked at 22, and in every one of the 22, they were greatly elevated.
Yep.
Then in the second one, he was talking about how in adults, same thing, greatly elevated, 1,000 peer-reviewed studies, millions, like scores of millions of people, or even hundreds of millions of people in some cases. Now, as shocking as those 2 clips were, the third one's even more shocking. And I have to say, you sent it to me when it was already past time for us to go. So I hurried. I got the clip ready. I listened to him on behalf of it, and it's shocking.
It's creepy.
Jaw-dropping, shocking, and very creepy and dark.
Very creepy.
Why don't we shut up and let him speak
for itself.
Here we go, and stop me.
Let's go all the way through, and then we can go back.
All right, let's do that.
Let's do it that way.
There is literally aborted human fetal tissue in the vaccines. This is not some crazy conspiracy theory.
No, it's not crazy. A study came out in 2015 that looked inside of MMR vaccine vials for any DNA. And they literally found in these MMR vaccine vials, there was trillions of fetal DNA fragments. So this is DNA from an aborted fetus that was aborted in the 1960s. They have an immortal cell line they use as factories to make the MMR vaccine proteins. So they're using fetal DNA. They don't clean it well. And so in the vials, you'll have DNA from that 1960s fetus injected into your own child. And that can integrate into genomes, by the way. They demonstrated that in that 2015 study. So, and it inserts in points in the genome associated with autism. So you can't even make this stuff up. And it can maybe cause cancer. It's what's called insertional mutagenesis. You have foreign DNA get inserted into your own that can possibly cause cancer. That's probably why we see higher cancer rates in vaccinated children.
So they knew this in 2015?
Yes.
Right.
Isn't that gross? And this poor, I don't understand. So some child was aborted in the 60s, and they continuously used that child's fetal cell line and mix it up with everyone who's ever had an MMR or an mRNA vaccine. And you're getting that person's genes.
A poor aborted child.
DNA, not,
DNA, yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's Twilight Zone, and it's called insertional mutagenesis. We're inserting something that's going to mutate in your genes. That's what that means.
Yeah.
And
stay out of my genes.
The United States of America forced Americans in the military to take this shot, and many companies with over 100 people forced their employees to take it. I actually do know someone who successfully argued about the fetal tissue as a moral objection to taking the shot.
Well, let me ask you this, though.
But he was put through the ringer.
It wasn't I think it was a religious exemption and not a moral one. And the reason
it was religious.
And that's an important distinction, because there should be a moral way out, and they don't do that. I don't know why. They always want to make a religious exemption, for that be the carve out, as opposed to I just don't want to do it
Well, yeah.
on moral grounds.
Yes.
So it's weak when people do, but they're painted into a corner. I understand why you use the religious exemption, because usually that's the only one that's offered.
Yes.
But that's really narrowing it too much. It should be anybody. It's like, no, it's not for religious grounds. I just don't want aborted fetus
Right.
DNA from the 60s injected into me.
I don't want somebody else's stuff in my body.
Thank you,
Thank
no.
you. You know, I'm pretty sure I could deal with my own DNA. I don't need some dead baby's DNA that's
Yeah.
horrifying.
It-
Sounds like
It's
Frankenstein.
ghoulish.
It's ghoulish. You know, my body, my choice. And that only goes one way with the
Yeah,
left,
apparently.
right? Because they were the ones that were like, take the vaccine. And yet, scrape that baby out, you know? Seeing no dichotomy in their viewpoints. It's just, it's just so inconsistent. But
Gee,
used
coming
to
from the
it.
left?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally used to it.
Yeah, I'm
So that's
surprised.
pretty horrifying. And I don't know. I thought that clip was just to think that there are trillions of aborted baby cells. And don't forget, one of the reasons they got to push this was because they had emergency use authorization. And we really weren't scheduled to talk about this, but I'll just mention it. That there were many, many doctors getting great results from different products in a combination of products. Some of them would use hydroxychloroquine with zinc, because the hydroxychloroquine as well as the ivermectin opens your cells so the zinc can get in. Vitamin D, vitamin C, all kinds of things. Go outside. And instead, our government locked you in your house and also put up a huge fight against ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Why? Because if anything worked to stop the virus, they could not force you to take those shots, because they were operating under an experimental emergency use authorization.
Right. And the emergency use authorization only applies if there is nothing else that's working.
That's correct.
So they had to pretend this other stuff wasn't working.
That's right.
And it was. Or they just had to ban it outright and threaten doctors.
And say, oh, you're a horsey. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, right.
You know? And listen to Jimmy Kimmel and all these creeps basically just towing the line for Big Pharma. So I just can't believe what so many people put up with. But hopefully now, I think one of the reasons the Maha movement under RFK and Jay Bhattacharya and all these real doctors got going was because people realized they had been lied to, and probably because they saw some people they knew and loved
Oh, I think
have
so.
bad results, right?
Sure, because you and I, like you said, you have a sad.
I think I'm up to
list
18
and-
people now.
Wow,
Yep.
that's a lot of people.
Yep. One, just no. I mean, I did have a doctor tell me, well, your friend should not have had anesthesia if she just had.
Oh, yeah,
if she
right.
had just had the shot the week before. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, nobody told
Nobody-
her that.
yeah.
And she was a believer. I was not, but
Yeah.
she was. So
All right. So we Kobe, how much time we got for this segment? Oh, okay.
So we go to another clip.
Well, that's all the clips we have.
Okay,
for
so I have a few
this
more.
subject matter.
A few more little things.
No, and I figured
Yeah.
you did. So go ahead.
Just a few
I
more
don't know what you got on your
little
list,
things
though.
on our things that are coming to light now under this administration, which I'm extremely unhappy with on certain aspects. But on this part of it, I'm happy to tell you that now, recently, declassified documents link U.S. bioweapons program to the Lyme disease outbreak.
Isn't it sad though that the good news is about terrible news?
It's the good news is they are now confirming
The terrible news.
What you and I were called conspiracy theorists.
Right.
I don't know. We had a show on about Plum Island, which is an island right off the coast of Long Island, right, in the huge population center where they conduct experiments with, what is it called, hazard level 4? You know what I mean? The extremely horrible diseases like Ebola and things like that. I'm not sure they do Ebola, but they have really, really scary diseases that right there. And if there's an accident, well, look, gee, no big population centers near.
Yeah.
So anyway, they have now confirmed that the military released 282,000 radioactive ticks and suppressed the infection research for 40 years. So Lyme disease was part of the U.S. biological weapons programs and contributed to the emergence of the infection that thousands of Americans suffer from annually, and they concealed it for 6 decades, including, quote, the systematic suppression of all critical medical research and the release of nearly 300,000 radioactive ticks across Virginia to study how the disease-carrying insects would spread. That sounds good.
So why is it crazy to think that HIV was spread that way, or that COVID was spread that way? And I have no evidence that those were true. But why now, after hearing what you just read?
Pretty shocking.
And we know that they put LSD. They were testing some people, involuntarily getting LSD.
Yeah.
And
Tuskegee Airmen.
Correct. So why is it crazy to think that all these things that just so-called came out of nowhere, like COVID came out of nowhere, AIDS, HIV and AIDS came out of nowhere, like, really? After hearing what you just wrote, these things are, is it crazy to think that they were released?
A lot of things we talk about here, as we used to always say, are crazy, and the craziest part about them is they're true. So please go and look up declassified documents link U.S. bioweapons program to Lyme disease outbreak. Tell you
what are we even doing with a bioweapons program?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Shipping it all over the world. We are Baldy and the Blonde, and we will be back after the break.
Yay, we're having so much fun.
Ain't it great? Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin here with Tom Coates, discussing such fun things that the government has just admitted that they released ticks and caused Lyme disease. Yep.
Jeez.
Yep. They love us.
And
why shouldn't we love them?
And we heard from the former chief medical officer at Moderna saying how they were going to cure cancer by injecting us with mRNA. Every time I try to say mRNA, I have to say it twice because I'm too stupid to say it once. Okay, switching gears entirely.
Yes.
We only have a few minutes, but we got to talk about this war that's not really a war.
It's not a war, Tom. It's
not
police action. We haven't been at war since World War II. Yet,
right.
somehow,
not officially.
We've been at wars. We've been at something that looks an awful lot like war since then.
But it's not. Okay, so I went to the Department of War's website to look up their mission statement. I was just curious. I don't know what compelled me to do that.
So I didn't even know they
have a mission statement.
That's interesting.
I must have seen something that made me curious about it, so I went there to see it. Because any organization that is not meeting its mission, its stated mission, they usually rewrite the mission or reorient themselves so as to meet their mission if they think their mission is the correct one. I've been in a lot of organizations and I've helped write a few mission statements. I know how that stuff works. So let's read there. It's a very short one.
Okay.
It's actually the shortest one I've ever seen. That's a good thing.
Our mission.
Go ahead, you can read it.
Okay. Our mission is to provide the military forces needed to deter war and ensure our nation's security.
Okay, period. That's it.
That's it.
Well, have they met that mission?
I would say...
Oh, wait, but if this isn't a war, then they have.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's war because we don't have war. They can always meet it just by...
Yes, by just not saying
Not
it's a
everyone
war.
knows what you're talking about, you know.
What?
Seriously, y'all, according to our government, we are not at war.
That's correct.
And we're never at war, and we have not been at war since the end of World War II, which was 1945.
All they have to... Right, because the reason is the Constitution says only Congress can declare war. So if we don't ever declare war, then we are indeed deterring war.
Yes, because we're not at war.
So we're not at war. So I guess they're meeting their mission statement. I stand corrected. I so apologize. Now, having said that, you hear some of these stupid talking heads and even politicians saying that what Iran has been doing since '79 they've been at war with us. Mm-hmm. And forgetting all about what we did in '53, which led directly to what they did in '79.
In '53, for those that don't know, we overthrew the duly elected leader,
Mohammad Mossadegh. He was a very popular president.
Yes,
He was,
and a Western guy.
And he
by
was
the way.
democratically elected, and we helped Britain
We
overthrow
being the
him.
CIA, yes.
I shouldn't say we. You and I had nothing to do
nothing
with
to
it.
do with it.
But the U.S., working with Great Britain, overthrew
Yes.
him and installed the Shah, because the Shah was friendly to us and,
Yes.
and the oil, because the other one, the Mossadegh wanted to
Keep his own oil.
keep the oil for the people of
Imagine.
of Iran. Yeah. So we overthrew him, and they didn't like that so much. And finally, in '79, they overthrew the Shah, got
Yes.
rid of the Shah.
The Iranians did,
the
not
Iranian
the
people,
CIA, yes.
right.
Well, that we know of.
And so, but then apparently history started in '79. Forget what happened in '53, and then with Chance of Death to America. So where I'm going with that is, the talking heads now saying, "Oh, back since '79, it's like they've been at war with us." Really?
What happened in '53?
Yeah, but no, they're just are they at war? We're chanting. They're chanting things.
Yes.
Death to America.
Yes.
And then doing some other things here and there that are not acts of war. But we have to be told they've been at war with us.
Yes.
Really, we're dropping bombs, but that's not a war.
That's right.
Like, come on.
It's a police action.
Okay, but what are chants? What a really bad, what a vile
Listen,
chants.
if you say death to America, you better watch out.
I guess that's a declaration of war.
That's what it
but
is.
dropping bombs is not an act of war.
That is correct.
And killing their leaders, that's not an act of war. Although, if some entity bombed the White House and took out the president and his family, there is no one in this country who would disagree with
That's an act of
that
war.
that's an act of war. Because that's
For sure.
obviously an act of war.
Of course it would be.
Of course it would be. But if we don't declare it to be
What,
an
what
act
if
of
they
war,
What if they said, "Hey,
it's
we
not
want
a
to
war.
have diplomatic talks with y'all at the White House,"
well,
and we participated in good faith, and then where all of our top leaders were at the White House, and we were bombed by the people.
no
who were,
country would ever do that.
No, never.
Oh, wait. We did that. Twice.
Twice, yes.
I wonder why would they want to not negotiate with us a third time?
And of course, the guy who's currently the leader for the moment lost, I think, most of his family.
So he won't be radicalized whatsoever.
No, not
I'm
at
sure
all.
he'll be a moderate.
Yes, and of course, always asking for unconditional surrender also leads to peaceful resolution.
Well, it didn't work out so well with the Japanese in World
Japanese.
War II. And you look at World War
Well, and I'm glad
What?
you brought that up, because
What?
what happened as a result of the Japan's refusal to unconditionally surrender?
Well, exactly, because we insisted on that.
Yes.
They refused, and it ended up with a firebombing of Tokyo, followed by a nuke, followed by a nuke.
So some people say there's something in Israel's, I don't know if it's their written military plans or just their ethos or lack thereof, called the Samson option, which means if things are not going well, they reserve the right to use a nuclear weapon that they say they don't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Very strange,
Officially,
but yes.
they don't have it.
Right.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
how that rolls. So we're in a really dangerous time, I think. Really bad. Really
Yeah,
bad.
and you know what?
And we've used up most of our missiles. The ones that Lindsay didn't send to his boyfriend in Ukraine have mostly been spent now shooting down $80,000 drones with $10 million interceptors, they're called. And now we're taking the interceptors from Korea, and those are used in defense of Taiwan as well. And so I don't think that's good. I don't think that's a good thing. I'm guessing what I hear is that the South Koreans are complaining that they have been betrayed by us.
That's one thing we're good at.
But
It
we seem
goes
to
back
be
far.
on quite a roll. And let me just say, it was very important to me that Donald Trump repeatedly for years said he would not go get us involved in a protracted Middle East war. And here we are. So let's see, because now, they're leaking right and left now from the White House. They want an off-ramp, but supposedly Iran's position is, we're not giving you one. We're just going to keep...
Yeah, if they keep fighting,
We have to do something, so here
what's
we
your
are.
off-ramp?
And it's a country of 92 million, 2.5 times the size of Texas, and I don't think we want to march into that place.
How would you? Logistically.
You just can't.
What's your entry point? There isn't one.
Why is our music playing?
Well, you look surprised. Look at the clock. It's almost done.
Oh, but we have 50 seconds
Yes.
left.
I'm looking at the clock. I figure we're about to wind it up, and you look at me like, What was the what?
Well, I didn't
We're
think the
almost
music.
done.
I didn't think it
Yes,
played
we're
this
almost
early.
done.
I like it though. I like
Well,
that song.
You know, when you said that we're in very dangerous times,
We are.
That was, and you're right. What's interesting, and I would agree, we are in dangerous times. That's before you even brought up Russia, Ukraine.
Yes.
Because either one of those
Terrible.
two theaters puts us in very dangerous times,
Yes.
and we got two.
Got two. Ladies and gentlemen, pray for your country. I'd say if you're so inclined, St. Michael's a good guy to pray. That prayer. Very good. Defend us in the day of the battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil.